Biodynamic wines are becoming more and more popular in recent years. The concept of biodynamic wines is approaching the soil, grapes, and winemaking in a holistic, ecological, and ethical way. The operations offer us the opportunity to be more intimate with the land. In this video, we interviewed wine industry workers and a uni researcher. We discussed about biodynamic vineyard and winemaking practice and the main challenge of biodynamic wines.
The NASA certification process, so that's for organic and biodynamic certification. They come twice a year to review all our processes, make sure that we're following all the different protocols with being, certified biodynamic.
ACO is Australian Organics, and they also certify for biodynamics. So that's through an independent auditor. Yeah. We'll come out and make sure that we're applying our preparations. Yeah.
It sort of goes hand in hand, so we aim for basically biodynamic practices are improving soil health, improving plant health. From that process we actually are obtaining better flavours. Our fruit expression is more pure, we get more varietal expression as well as vineyard to our place. So it definitely, like a healthier vine will usually lead to, healthier grapes. I would say biodynamically, we actually have less fluctuation in terms of yields than conventional, just because, we're feeding compost and we're feeding the vines, we're getting healthier vines that then sort of level out and the vine is in balance.
The vine's taking up nutrient in a much more balanced way, so that they're only taking up and utilising the nutrient that they require. We're not force feeding, so although we're doing PPL analysis and soil analysis and spectral imaging and things, we're allowing through composting, mainly and seaweeds, is to allow the vine to take up nutrient in a more balanced structure. So it's a much more natural farming technique. So, and we're building better soil microbiology, so mycorrhiza and beneficial fungi and bacteria. Much more, I keep saying, but it's much more balanced. So even to do with pest problems, we've got a lot better natural beneficials that are using for predation. So we're not getting blowouts of light brown apple moth, for instance, where everything's very consistent and in check. Yeah. It took a few years. The first couple of years, from dropping all synthetic chemicals to going organic, you see a few little imbalances until things don't get back in check. Yeah. So the first few years are pretty challenging, but after that, everything sort of gets back into check and looks after itself. Yeah. We've had some, we've cropped up the vines and we've assessed that for quality. We've had low yields in certain years and assessed that quality. We found our sweet spot for both fruit quality and economical viability is about 3 tonne per acre. So all our cover crops are permanent swards, so depending on the site, on our heavier ground we use more aggressive grasses like fescues and cocksfoot. On the sandier soils we'll use basically an annual ryegrass and let it self-seed. Every year, so the property is 420 acres, there's a total estate, with currently about 220 under vine. And we've broken the property up into several cells, fenced off creek lines and watercourses. So we'll bring in, this year we've got 400 crossbred sheep ewes, and we'll bring them in sort of as soon as, now, depending on the season, but generally it's April. Yeah.
We store it and prepare all our different preparations from 500 to 508. Spread it over the compost heap over summer and it begins to ferment. Spread it onto all our vineyards. We like to get it in just before the heavy rains, so hopefully finishing by the end of May. It's buried over winter. Also, that's 500. If you feel that, it doesn't feel like cow manure, does it? It's basically feels almost, it's broken down. Yeah. There's plenty of different preparations that we use. Another interesting point is analysing our compost, which have added the preparations to similar compost that hasn't, and we have found that there are significant differences. I think that the main thing is that the preparations will help to break down that organic matter and, you know, convert it to food for the soils.
This is some valerian that we made up from our garden, so you know, use it for different practices. It has a warming, so on a wet year you might apply it to warm. And then we keep all our other prep. So this is the 500. So the whole manure in here. And then we have some minor preps. So this is the 502, 507. All these preps, so valerian, chamomile, oak bark, and that's what we use for our compost activators. Because we need such big volume, for us to make those preparations on site, it would be really time consuming. So we buy it in. That way, we're getting a consistent product, and we always have enough to go around.
During fermentation, we add biodynamic yeast. There's a Rubino extract, first ever biodynamic strain of yeast. So fermentation is pretty similar to conventional winemaking. One thing that we do here a lot more than conventional would be a lot more rack and returns, because we don't add diammonium phosphate. One of the biggest challenges during fermentation. Disease pressure is always a issue, but that's with everything.
I think with as far as the organics and biodynamics, because we're building that healthier soil, it's allowing the vines. We're growing a healthier, stronger vine as well. So I think it's more resilient. So I'd like to think that, you know, if climate change and global warming continues, we're growing a much more robust vine for those conditions.
One of the big problems that the biodynamic industry, for want of a better word, face is their reliance on unproven soft additions to their management.
To sum up, these wineries change to biodynamic process to make their wines because they want to improve the soil structure, vine health, and fruit quality instead of market purpose. For winemaking, they intervene as less as possible to express the terroir. The main challenges of biodynamic wines are the climate change and the disease pressure. Although the scientific base behind biodynamics is not clear, the mystery of biodynamic wines still attract consumers' attention.
We had really good results, so.
Okay, just great.
But there's no measures.
Yeah,
so no. Once we've lost all the leaf, we'll push the sheep into there. But if we put them in there now, they'd eat all the leaf, so we're losing that carbohydrate storage.